What's up, guys? Welcome to Choppin' It Up. This is Peej, and I have my two permanent counterparts, Jordan Takeoff at Jordan_Takeoff, and Zach Blostein. Is it Blostein or Blostein?
Blostein.
Blostein. Okay, Blostein.
Thanks.
And your handle is it Z Blostein 24/7?
Yep.
Look at that memory. See, I didn't do too many drugs. I can still remember what your Twitter handle is.
Chill.
Oh, drugs. Oh.
All right, so we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna talk about fall camp. I know Jordan has some questions for Zach, so go ahead and ask Zach what you need to ask him.
Nah, but I just had a question, man. How do you? Well, I know you're not there, but overall, from what you see and who you talk to, how do you feel camp's going?
I mean, I feel like it's going well. They're installing right now, heavy. Trying to get in with the freshmen, especially just get them acclimated to the program. Just what they expect from them as far as on and off the field. I feel like the freshmen, just by looking at these interviews with the coaches, they're saying that the freshmen are catching along pretty well and are learning the playbook. They're in the film room a lot. So I feel like, overall practice is going pretty well, but there's still a lot of improvement to be made, especially on the O-line. The linebacker core is pretty thin right now as far as depth, especially with the injury of freshman linebacker Amari Gaynor. And I'd say that, all those positions need a bit of work, but I feel like as long as they, keep up the pace with their install and then, just working in the offense and the defense, I think that they'll get it done before the season opener.
Can we talk about which position groups we're each most confident in and which position group we're least confident in? Starting with Zach.
I think that you're most confident in the running backs.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much a given because you have, a healthy, knock on wood, healthy stable of running backs. You got Cam Akers, Kalen LeBourne, Jacques Patrick, Amir Azul, and then freshman Anthony Grant. So you got 5 solid backs right there that can get the job done. I think that's what the staff is most confident in right now. But I feel like least confident, I think you pin that on the linebackers.
Right.
Just not saying that there's not talent there. I think there's a little bit of talent there. But the depth is an issue. Obviously with Xavier Peters getting qualified today to play, that's a big addition on the outside. But I still think that losing Amari Gaynor is big for your depth. I don't think he'd be, on the field starting on day one, but I think that he could make his way into the rotation throughout the season. Just if someone's gassed or whatever. But I think those are the two groups that I would pin those positions.
Speaking on linebacker, what's your opinion on Zaquandre moving? Because I personally like the move because he's a straight athlete, and I mean that'd be a lot more speed added at linebacker. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's not a true linebacker, not a Division I true linebacker. So how do you feel about that move?
I think it's a depth move. Maybe the coaching staff viewed it as, or talked to him and spoke to him about, possibly getting on the field, and that kind of excited him. I don't know how likely that is. I mean, I still think there's solid options that are, more reliable than him right now. I still think they're, obviously in the spring there was the off-the-field issue, and he was, kept out. There were behind-the-scenes stuff that went on, but I think that if he can, learn how to acclimate to the defense, change his game that way, I think he could be a solid addition. Like you said, he's an athlete, 4-star running back coming out of high school. I think that He did play defense a little bit in high school, so I don't think the transition will be that hard for him. But as long as he, is focused, doesn't get any trouble off the field, I see that being a good move as far as the depth that they need at that position.
I like the move. I'm a big fan of the Zaquandre.
I like the move too. I think I don't know much about Zaquandre. I don't know like what his disposition is like. I mean, I've seen his tape, but like being in North Carolina, it's hard to know. I'm a big I put a lot of stock into what a guy's disposition if he's a like quote unquote dog, and I would guess that Zaquandre is. I don't know that, but part of me, if you said this already, but he's more of an outside linebacker, right?
Yeah, I mean, his size and speed would fit that outside role pretty well, but still think he lacks the height a little bit, just as far as being in coverage and all that, and being able to pass rush. But I feel like I said, it's more of a depth move rather than like someone that will go out there and prove something on the field. But
Zaquandre is gonna be a shame because he ain't never gonna be able to live up to if it is in fact a depth move, then he ain't never gonna be what we thought he was gonna be.
I mean, he came in with a couple other really highly touted backs there, so I feel like that would have been a hard enough job getting on the field in the first place at his desired position. So I guess this kind of gives him a new opportunity, and I feel like if he wants to use it to, see time on the field, he will. So we'll see.
What position group that's maybe getting a little bit of hype are you not so quick to buy into, if any?
Me?
Either, honestly.
I'll go. I'd say.
First,
I'd say. Let me think. I think the wide receivers, like the wide receivers are, you have some solid options there, but a lot of them are unproven. Like, there's a lot of hype around Tamori and Terry, and I'm not saying that Tamori and Terry's not, ball out this season, which he very likely could. But I just don't know if putting that much, hype into that position is a good thing right now, because there's a lot of unproven guys. DJ Matthews, he saw a little bit of time last year and, really made use of that time. But, we got to see what happens when they really hit the field against some tough opponents this season, because, practice is practice. You're not
right.
going to see what these guys are going to do until they hit the field. So I feel like, as far as the freshmen, you got a good group there. They're learning well. They're getting used to the system already. Coach Bell even said that they were, in the classroom as far as like film and just learning the plays and all that. So I'd say that there's a good chance that could be a good group, but it's been plagued with injuries with George Campbell and Nooney Murray. So I say wait until the season to get hyped about that group. But there's some good options there, but we'll see.
I think somebody's going to step up, a wide receiver. If I were to guess, I'd probably either say...
I thought the group I thought that was a group you was going to go with, as wide receiver.
That I was not buying, or the one that I'm most confident in?
The one you wasn't buying.
That is the one I'm not buying. Like as a whole, like I know there's a lot of hype with Tamorian, there's a lot of hype with DJ, there's a lot of hype with Trayshawn, and then like there's a lot of hype with the abusement park. And then there's a relative amount of hype with Warren Thompson, and like Nooney Murray is, I think, going to be a solid player this year. I don't think all of those guys though, and I'm not saying other people think this, but there's so much guys at that position group that are getting a lot of hype. There's like 5 guys getting like some serious hype. I only really see one at most kind of like superstar emerging, at least this year. Um, I mean, for the most part, I've been a Tamorian Terry guy, but for some reason today and yesterday, and it's because I'm a prisoner of the moment, um, Trayshawn Harrison, like for some reason, I'm one of those guys that kind of buys my own bullshit and what I think in my head so fast. Um, that I kind of had this epiphany, like, yeah, Trayshawn's gonna come on, round game 4, 5, 6, kind of like Rashad Green, um, tailor made for the offense. You know, you hear that so much, and Terry, I noticed Tamorian Terry's getting a lot of hype from War Chant, and I don't mean to disrespect War Chant.
They trash. They trash. They trash.
I like Corey Clark, and I know Zach God damn it, is it Blostein or Blostein? I already forgot.
Blostein.
I know Mr. Blostein. You know,
Who was the guy that was at the spring game when y'all was outside the Moore? You worked for War Chant?
Michael.
Yeah, he cool.
Oh no, that's my least favorite person at War Chant. Besides Gene, I know I can't. Zach, you don't have to comment because you're on the beat. And he'll probably never hear it. I like Corey. Corey's cool. I listen, and I don't like Aslan. I don't want to say I don't like them. I just don't. I'm not a fan of their content. I'm sure they're very nice people. But I listen to, and I just know I've noticed Terry's getting a lot of hype from War Chant, and maybe that's like leaked into like the Twitter universe from the War Chant subscribers. Because I don't think he's getting as much hype on like the 24/7 or Tomahawk Nation side of things, like directly. I'm sure it's trickled in. But I'm gonna be disappointed if Terry's, because I want Terry to be like amazing. I just like Terry. Terry's probably my favorite player on the team, which is ridiculous because there's so much more proven players on the team. But go ahead, Jordan.
I don't really have a concern with wide receiver just because of the offense is so spread out. So I tend to think that if they if the wide receivers aren't good here, then it's got to be a problem. Like, it's just Florida State then if that's a problem.
Right.
There's no way that wide receivers in this offense that are not half as talented as ours thrive in this type of offense, and ours can't. So I think that shouldn't be a problem. But the group that I would say I wouldn't buy into yet, honestly, if I had to be honest, is DB just yet. Just because you really only have
two proven commanders.
You only have two people proven there, to be honest.
That's true, I guess.
You have Stanford, you have Devontae. Kyle, I mean, we all know how good Kyle is. Kyle's like, we've seen Kyle like get picked on in games, back-to-back games.
Right.
We've seen that Nas he's not so great in coverage. We've seen we don't know what we have in Fagan. We know what we got in Westbrook, and it's only so much. So what really, you know what I'm saying? What really at DB is really so great other than two guys?
I agree with you. I actually am going to change my opinion because I'm such a prisoner of the moment, and but I agree with you. It's a much more. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say like you're right about the two proven guys. I think that you know what you're getting out of the juniors and seniors, like AJ, Cyrus, all those guys. AJ, Cyrus, Carlos, all those guys. You know what you're getting as far as like. What'd you say?
Calvin.
Yeah. So you know what you're getting with, how they're going to play on the field, their contributions. They're going to get beat sometimes, but they're also make some plays. But I think the two consistent guys, the most consistent, are Stanford and Levante. But, you got the freshman coming in, who I really like.
Yeah.
Asante Samuel and AJ Lighton. So I think those two guys, have a possibility of getting in the lineup early. But like you said, it's, you know what you're getting, but you also have some unproven guys. So we'll see how that position group develops. But I think it's going to be pretty decent.
Out of go ahead.
If Lighton plays early, that'll tell us all we need to know. Well, if the freshmen play early, because it's a deep group. It's a deep group with vets. So if the freshmen play early, that tells us everything we need to know.
That's what I hope happens. I was kind of I was just reading stuff today, and I was reading like the depth chart, which I know is super subject to change and needs to be taken with a very hefty grain of salt. But I really hope the young guys. When we first hired Taggart, a lot of the talk was like he'll play the young guys. He'll play the young guys. If they're deserving. And I think we would be better suited if they step up, of course. Like, they have to earn it. That's what I hope happens. And I like Westbrook and I like Bruton as people. But I think and I like them as football players, I don't have anything negative to say. It's just it's more exciting to me picturing Lighton and Asante getting burned and, Fagan and Nas stepping up. But they're all improving. So hopefully, iron will sharpen iron. Speaking of guys like Westbrook and Bruton, for both of you guys, and then I'll chime in. Who do you think, out of everybody who's kind of in a money year or has had a slightly disappointing career, who do you think has the best chance to kind of maybe revive their career, and maybe make some draft noise?
Go ahead.
I'd say out of the guys you named, probably AJ Westbrook.
No, not out of all the guys. I mean, anybody on the team, like anywhere from George Campbell to,
I'd say maybe on the offensive line,
right.
Everly, maybe, or Dickerson, someone like that, because Trickett was a great offensive line coach. Don't get me wrong, he brought some good guys in, but I just feel like some of the ways that he coached weren't beneficial to all of his linemen. So I feel like a lot of those guys got underdeveloped, like they weren't developed properly, like they should have been. So I feel like Eberle, what you're gonna get. Like he's a reliable center on the starting offensive line. With Juwan Williams coming back, that could provide some a pretty good body on the offensive line. I'm just I'm not too sure as far as the injuries with Juwan, Derek Kelly, and then in the second group you got Bavion Johnson and Bello. But I say Eberle is one of those guys that could prove himself this year. On the defensive side, I'd say maybe Wally Aime. I think that he really bought into his position. The way they want him to play that position. I feel like cutting the weight down a lot, which he's already done, and he's really bought into what Coach Schneider is telling him as far as being able to play. So I think that he could have a pretty good season because they're going to rotate a lot of guys on that line. So we'll see what happens there. But I think those two guys, out of the people that had kind of disappointing careers thus far, I think those guys have a good chance of flipping that.
I wouldn't say I've been disappointed with May because he's a JUCO, isn't he? I feel like he's been. I mean,
I'm not saying he's disappointing. I just think that
he hasn't blown up.
The way that they were using him before, he wasn't going to be a role play. He was just going to be a body.
Right.
I think now, he actually has a chance to contribute. But yeah, he was a JUCO, but we'll see.
I'm definitely not gonna go Eberle because Eberle's trash. But if we're gonna go offense, I would say if we go offense, I would say George Campbell just because he has the best ability. If he was healthy, he would be the best receiver on the team to me. But I would go with him just because. I mean, it's a new staff, it's a new offense. Maybe give him a new chance. Anybody else on offense, I can't really think of that's had such a bad career that they can revive it. Everybody, I think, has played up to standard that we would think when they was on the field. But on defense, I would definitely go with Fred Jones. Just because D-tackle's not... I don't think it's that deep. And I think he'll play, I think he'll get on the field and play. And he's not bad.
Yeah, Odell loves him.
If he has a decent year, I think he can make some noise.
I think May is probably the most likely guy. May or Fred Jones on defense, I think, are the most likely. I think D-Jack, if people consider him a disappointment, which I certainly do.
Trash.
D-Jack, I don't know how... D-Jack is one of the, if not the most, one of the most wild card guys that I really... And I know Jordan doesn't really like him, but one of the most wild card guys on the team. I really don't know what to expect. I don't know if he's going to step up. Because, all the rumblings on the message boards and, the media is... he's really bought into the second chance.
I can tell you what to expect. You can expect a nigga that's slow, that to read the play extra slow, a nigga that don't wrap up, don't finish no tackle, always behind the run, always behind the play, somebody like that. And somebody who, gets a half of a tackle with 3 other players and beats his chest. That's what you can expect. You can expect somebody that really can't cover. Definitely can't cover. So, for him to be the best linebacker says a lot about the group.
Yeah, the linebackers, the group, I don't know. I really, yeah. Maybe Emmett Rice. What is he, about to be a junior? He could be one of those guys. Or Josh Brown.
He's the smallest linebacker in all of 118 D1 teams.
Yeah. Linebacker is one of those positions who's ever the best. It's everybody's kind of been, to a degree, disappointing.
To be honest, if Adonis Thomas wasn't what people said he was, he could have a chance to be the best one, but he's just supposedly not that good and soft.
Yeah. On offense, for me, there's a lot of guys that I don't want to say disappointed as a strong word, but there's been guys that I set my own expectations, and when you set your own expectations, you're only going to be disappointed. That I thought would maybe be contributors by now, like Bavion Johnson. He's been hurt though, hasn't he? I can't remember. He's had some injury problems, hasn't he?
I think he had a groin problem.
Last year, I'm pretty sure he might have been out for the year. Him, Upshur. I don't know if I even had expectations for Upshur. I just know he was pretty highly rated coming out of high school. I don't think he's gonna.
He played 2 ways. He was playing DN too.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be a. I don't expect him to ball out. I think McKitty's gonna ball out. I think McKitty's probably the guy that everybody kind of knows is gonna be really good. But since he's a tight end and it's not a sexy position, people don't really like to talk about it. It's not something that people love to sit and talk about and jerk off over. Is what the tight end's gonna do. But I think McKitty could very well be a future first round pick, especially in this offense. I think the kid's gonna absolutely ball out.
I hope so. I think he will.
But and then
uses the tight end like they say he does.
Right. The spring game, I loved what they did with McKitty. Again, it's just the spring game, and also our linebackers are by far probably the most. I think our linebackers are much more suspect than our offensive line, but I'm much more confident in the O-line than I am with linebacker. Much more. And I'm not confident in the O-line, but I'm just much more linebacker.
The O-line is only confident because of who's running behind it. If we didn't have a stud behind it, you'd be scared.
Oh yeah, I would be scared. I think if you take away O-line, it's one of the most talented offenses in the country.
Most definitely.
But I think the O-line, a lot of the O-line's weaknesses, which they have a lot of them, will be masked by kind of the change in, offense.
They're not going to having to be holding blocks for that
Right.
like that much longer. I mean, as long as they were under the old offense. Like, so I feel like that's going to help a lot. And I also feel like, Coach Frey getting them in shape, like for the
Right.
tempo, is going to help.
And the defense, the opposing defense is just going to be much more tired playing against their offense just because of the tempo.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be like going after Francois or Blackman or Hockman every play. And speaking of which,
the defense literally would have, like, just watching the games, they'd have, like, after every play, it'd be Francois or Blackman would look, get the play, take forever to get up to the line.
Snap it at 3.
Yeah, snap it at 3, get a delay of game. It's just like, I feel like this speed is very much what this team needed. It's something that's going to help a lot of the positions that we're struggling. But, it's also going to be something that they're going to have to get used to because, they're not used to running 2 plays in 15 seconds. So,
right.
We'll see.
We haven't even talked about quarterbacks.
What you were saying, no, go ahead. Well, hold on, PJ. We can say that for last.
All right, go ahead.
Speaking of what you were saying about opposing defenses, everybody, I guess it's a pretty known fact that Foster is going to blitz as much as he can and as often as he can. So, and it's crazy. I talked to Landon before they was in the spring game, before they even took the field, and he was like, if they put 8 in the box, we will throw the ball. Like, we will throw it downfield. And, I mean, if they're going to throw the ball downfield, then the wide receiver position becomes that much more important, right?
Yeah. And so I think you got some guys that can step up there, like I said, but it's all going to come down to who steps up. You don't know who's going to do it. I mean, you have some ideas, but I think that, Foster runs a great defense at Virginia Tech. You're going to face a lot of great defenses in Clemson. Their D-line is insane. So, they're going to have to step up on the offensive line as well. So I think that the new system is going to help out a lot. Like you said, the wide receivers are going to have to step up because if they load the box, they're going to have to be able to get open quickly and be able to make plays.
So
I see the first team offense has Ontario Wilson on it. I'm just wondering.
I know I saw that earlier, and
I don't know.
We'll see. Let's go ahead and talk quarterbacks and then do a depth chart prediction. Go through each.
Probably do record prediction.
Yeah, then a record prediction.
All right.
So quarterbacks, Zach, who do you want it to be? Which I know you're not a fan, you're just a reporter. So you probably don't really care. But who do you think wins the job?
Right now, I think Francois. Just because from what I'm hearing is that he is the most consistent everywhere on the field. He's not going to wow you with the ability to make deep throws down the field consistently, on the money, but he's going to be consistent in the short game, in the middle of the field. So I think that he's the most consistent right now. Bailey Hockman, I think he's playing it safe as far as like his decision making. Like he's been consistent, but I think that DeAndre's been more consistent in the deep game than Hockman. And then Blackman, obviously we know he can sling it, especially down the field. I'm not sure about Blackman being able to lead this team. Like, he's a great leader, but I just don't think that the way he plays the game, I don't see him being able to go through the full season without getting hurt or having to sit for a bit, just from this offensive line, not being able to block the Clemsons or the Miamis or the Notre Dames. These really, really good defensive lines. So I think that DeAndre is going to be the most consistent player for you. On the field, obviously there's the off the field issues, but I think with him living on campus and Taggart really, getting into his head, like, this is like your chance. Like, if you mess up one more time, like, you're not going to be able to play. So I think that DeAndre gets everything fixed up off the field and gets consistent with that. I think he's going to be the starter.
Jordan, what the fuck is that noise?
What did you say, PJ?
What's that noise?
What is that?
Jordan, are you making a smoothie?
What noise?
Did you step outside?
Like
is it windy? Did you put a fan on? Did you change anything?
Hold on, let me see. What about now?
There you go.
There we go.
It's our first episode. That may or may not get edited out, but we're not the most professional people, so maybe our viewers or listeners can laugh at that. But who do you think? Well, I know what Jordan thinks, but I know.
That's what I'm saying, PJ. You can go. I'll go last.
I think everybody knows. Anybody who follows Takeoff knows. But I think Francois is going to win the job. I don't really have a preference. I'm not going to be disappointed if Blackman wins it. I don't think I personally don't think Hockman has a chance.
You was Team Blackman. What happened?
I was Team Blackman, and I like Blackman better. But I kind of backed. If you noticed,
that's the energy shift.
I'm the king of shifting my energy and kind of having it go undetected. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I'm very good at shifting energy and people not catching on to it. Because I play it like I've become a Lakers fan and no one said anything to me. I've become I was a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan last year and I've been repping the Jaguars, and no one said anything to me. So I'm team Francois only because I think that's what's going to happen and I want to be right. You know what I mean? And I don't even want to say I am Team Francois, but I think he's gonna win, and I think he gives us the most opportunity for success. Not because he's that much of a better quarterback than James Blackman. I honestly think if Jimbo was still here, Blackman's the better option. But I think what I've seen, Francois putting on a bunch of weight, maybe Taggart, is gonna run him more design runs, maybe 5 or 6 a game, which I think would be huge given the weapons that we have, and then to have a quarterback, which Francois is not Michael Vick, but he can do a little something running the ball. I think I just think Francois fits, and I'm not an expert. I'm not an X's and O's expert. I'm just not. So you have to take what I say with this with a grain of salt. But I do think that he does give us the best chance to win. I think the team probably would rally better around Francois, even though I do think I do just like Blackman more. I just think maybe it's a combination of seniority, and I think Francois kind of got this chip on his shoulder, not necessarily underdog, but redemption thing going that at least the players on the team will really buy into. He got hurt. He got in some trouble. I don't know. I know people have said in the past he's a bad teammate, and I've heard that, and I'm not as connected as either of you, excuse me. But I haven't really heard anything from any of his actual teammates thinking he's a bad teammate or coming out and saying they think he's a bad teammate. I know there was things last year with Jacob Pugh, but I don't know if that was directed at Francois.
His garbage out.
Who, Francois or Pugh?
Pugh.
Yeah. You think a lot of people are garbage, don't you? I'm not as you use that word a lot.
Thing is, if we're gonna sit here and talk about winning the championship and all of this, you have to be up to par as Clemson. They don't have, or not Clemson or Bama, not just Clemson, my fault, but Clemson or Bama or Ohio State, they don't have these type of kids on the team.
You mean mentality-wise or talent-wise? Or both?
I would say both. If you even so talent-wise, we can look at 10 players on a team that we can take off the team and still not miss a beat that are like second stringers or going to play minutes.
I think
like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
like
think
Ohio State and like all them, they don't have that. And if they do have that, it's because they have depth with 5 stars behind it.
Right. I think one of the things, like when Jimbo was here, Jimbo's a great recruiter, but something that would happen under his regime or under his watch that didn't really happen at schools that we kind of thought we recruited on the same level as, but we really didn't, like Alabama, Ohio State, not Clemson, but Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia recently, is they hit everywhere. They hit all of their needs. We never really did that under Jimbo. We never really hit, like, O-line. Not only was, like, coaching a question, but talent was a serious question on the O-line. It wasn't just coaching. Like, we didn't have a lot of depth, a lot of talent.
Never pulled one elite player on the O-line except for Diggers.
Yeah, and we thought Davion was going to be good.
The biggest issue was this. All right, so Jimbo would bring in, like, he'd be... With O-line, you want to bring in... I've always heard this from a bunch of coaches and recruiting analysts. You want to bring in 4 O-linemen around that number every class. You don't want to do classes with 8 O-linemen and then next class you only get 1, because sometimes you luck out, you get someone, in that one offensive lineman take, that's good. But like most of the time, if you're only taking 1 offensive lineman, you want to get someone, that's pretty highly talented.
Surefire.
They didn't do that. They would get, a 3-star that they'd say, oh, we're going to develop down the line, but you need to be taking solid offensive linemen every year, because offensive linemen, they're going to get injured. They always get injured. Just what happens. You never know who's going to get injured. So it's just like you want to get almost a full class of linemen, like almost 5 linemen every time. Like you don't want to be inconsistent with it. And
right.
Jimbo would get, crazy numbers like 8, and then the next class would get like 1 or 2. So it just wasn't healthy. And Trickett, he would do a good job of developing, the top guys, like 2012. I mean, like in 2013, 2012, like those were good years as far as the offensive line goes. You had some solid guys back there, but once you came down to the end of that era, there were some issues, especially starting in 2014 and then going all the way until last year. So I just think that getting a consistent amount of offensive linemen every year, every class, is really key in the development of these guys, and then just being able to have depth at the position constantly.
I mean, Taggart's off to a good start.
Oh, recruiting wise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if with Lucas and Cross, I guess he's off to a decent start. But if he wants to, like, if we want to get back to the old ways, you got to lock down the trenches on both sides.
Yep.
He has to at least get if he can pull off Tibbs, then I don't care what his record is this year. To be honest with you. Because he's getting elite guys in places. Like, you know what I'm saying? If he can keep that,
that's
pull off Tibbs. You know what I'm saying? If you get elite guys in those places like Alabama, you look across the board, every person on that defense, all 11 are elite. Clemson, all 11 are elite. Us, 5 or 6, maybe. Can't be like that.
Yep.
Yeah, Clemson also has the best coordinator in football.
Venables is not that good.
All right.
When has it ever been a problem for us to even score on Venables?
It hasn't been. I don't think he's the best. That's just kind of like I feel like that's if you polled college football fans who's the best coordinator in football, they would probably say
isn't the highest paid coordinator in football.
Probably.
Sure.
I feel like I don't think he's the best. It's probably somebody that's not even coming to my head right now. It's the best, Who knows? Maybe it's Harlan Barnett.
I think it's the guy from LSU, the ball dude, the ball guy, Arnada,
like the mixed guy, yeah. Let's kind of go through the depth chart together, and we don't have to do like one at a time. Like our own personal opinions. Let's kind of like go through and come up with a, what we think the depth chart's going to be and chime in like difference of opinion. But I feel like Francois probably at quarterback. I know Take probably thinks Blackman, right?
Francois at quarterback.
You think so? You think so? Takeoff.
It's 2-1. You gotta put him there.
Yeah. So Francois at quarterback. Running back is a committee, but mainly Quez, Akers, and Laybourne. But like Akers is going to be the workhorse. But I think it's going to be a solid 3-man rotation. And with I don't know. I think maybe Quez his production goes down a little bit.
I think you see Quez used more as like a fullback type, like in a sense, like third down, short yardage, all that kind of stuff, and he's going to get it done because they're really selling the idea of like make use of your carries, like make every carry count. So they're earning the carries, and they're gonna like it's just going to be like a bunch of guys that are ready to play because they're going to have so much depth at the position. So yeah, I'd say Akers is the top guy, but you have Jacques right there if you need him for a third down.
And Laybourne is just a spell home run. I think they each ease. I think Akers gets 1,000. Jacques probably hovers in 500, 600, and Laybourne probably hovers in like 700, 600. That's a lot.
Yeah,
Maybe that's super generous of me, but
yeah, I don't know. I think Laybourne's going to be like one of those guys that gets like a couple carries a game, but he'll like break one out for a score every once in a while.
Right.
I can see them niggas being like a Ronnie Brown and who's the other Cadillac?
Yeah.
If it happens, but I mean, I see Quez's production going way down just because I feel like you got to be a speed back to be in this. Not a speed back, but somebody that's really special to be in this type of offense. Yeah, I feel like. Go ahead.
It's not super important. I think Laybourne's going to do a little bit more than Zach thinks he does. And I'm not one of those people that thinks Laybourne's better than Akers, but I think he does produce a solid amount.
Yeah, I think he gets close. I mean, I don't think both of them rush for 1,000. Obviously, I think Cam probably goes for 1,000, probably about 11, 1,200. But maybe Laybourne goes for 6, 7.
I think so. And who knows who gets hurt, This is not to jinx anything, knock on wood, but I think we could also survive,
I got Quest for a smooth 300, 400.
Yeah, that's what I think too. O-line, I would just go with what like the first team has been at this point. I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, it's just like a fluid position because people get hurt. Yeah. So I'd say like everyone healthy, just by what our site has reported. Juwan Williams at left tackle, left guard, Derek Kelly, center, Eberly, my bad, I always make that mistake. Right guard, Cole Minshew, and right tackle, Dickerson. So, yeah, I think that's a solid group, but, obviously, knock on wood, but, the injuries are there. Derek Kelly's battling something right now. Juwan Williams just came off an injury, so we'll see what happens with them.
Landon at right tackle is interesting.
Yeah,
I know.
That was super interesting, man. All right, linebacker. Are we going to do 2 linebackers? And then include star with linebackers or with defense or with D-backs?
I guess you can include the star. I think the star is pretty easy to tell, but we'll see.
Right. Go ahead with linebackers. I don't know, so go ahead, somebody.
All right. Obviously, your middle is going to be Dontavius, whether Take likes it or not.
God.
I like Dontavius. Me and Take are going to beat
everything up the middle.
Honestly, I don't know who's going to play the outside. Like you said, like Adonis is there. I don't know like where these guys fit. Like some of these guys haven't played yet, so I don't know. I have to watch more of the linebackers in practice because I don't have a good sense of who's going to play on the outside right now. Like, obviously, you got some freshmen like Xavier Peters and stuff, but I don't think Xavier Peters is going to be a starter. I think he's going to be like second or third string. So I don't know who's going to be at that starting spot, but I think at the star, I think you see a mix of DeKalen Brooks and Jaden Woodby. Would you say that's?
Please God, not Brooks.
I know there's some FSU fans that are quite skeptical about DeKalen Brooks, but I don't know. Like,
he's small, little. If anything, you might as well put Woodby there. Might as well.
Yeah, I think Woodby is someone that you can count on. He's not one of those freshmen that's just going to be, phased by the pressure or anything. Like, he's played in big games in his high school at Bosco or whatever. So I just think that, like, maybe you see a combination of them at the beginning, and then Woodby wins over the starting role just by the way he plays. I don't think Brooks is all that good, like, as far as just being consistent, but we'll see. I don't know.
In my perfect world,
he's the best linebacker ever, son. You gotta take him.
Yeah.
In my perfect world, Josh Brown wins the Bronco Nagurski Awards simply because I would love to see what his dad would tweet.
His dad's an elite tweeter.
His dad is the best. His dad is the GOAT. He's the GOAT father. He's the GOAT tweeter. He's the GOAT fan. He's my all-time probably favorite human being ever. And I really want to meet him. So if he listens to this, me and him live in the same city.
Get him on the pod.
We need to get him on the pod. I'll get him over here. And I'll get him over here in South Charlotte. He probably lives in North Charlotte because his son played for Mallard Creek. But Mr. Frederick, I think he's a pastor too. He might.
Even better. Better.
I think he really is. Like, I don't think that's a joke. I think he's actually
a pastor on his Twitter right now.
So Josh Brown, please, for your dad's sake, just for my sake, really,
That's
just like
he gotta do it. The Bible say he gotta do it.
Yeah, and those tweets. I mean, if let's say Josh Brown against Virginia Tech, he starts, he gets 14 tackles, 2 sacks, a pick six. Like, oh my God, I wouldn't even care if we won. I would.
You wouldn't stop tweeting.
Like Frederick Brown would. Oh, I would make it my header. Whatever tweet he sends, like after the game, I would make it my header. I'm gonna buy him tickets. I'm gonna take him to a game this year. We're gonna ride down together. He may, after listening to this, he may want to get a restraining order against me. But anyways, DBs.
I'm gonna be sure to send him the link.
Let's talk about DBs.
All right, you can take this one.
If, like I said, if Light is already on that second team with the vets, that has to tell you something. Like the man, like if it's me, if you're gonna move Stanford to safety, and Vontae already has his position locked down, so boom, that's 2 positions locked down. We don't have 5 DBs on the field anymore, so you have a corner and another safety and strong safety open. Rationally thinking, I guess you could put Westbrook there, or you'll put Nas there. Either way. But for the second corner, man, I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one that doesn't believe in Kyle.
Oh, I don't believe in Kyle. I don't necessarily not believe in him. Like, I'm not like opposed to it, but I don't hear Kyle Myers' name in
camp at all. Like people say he had a good spring. Where? I ain't seen shit. And on top of that, like, why not let Lighton play? He's Mr. Football. The nigga has track speed. Okay, he might be 5'10", 5'11", but I mean, okay.
I think a lot of people talked about Asante, like, kind of being a dog, which he is. I don't think enough people talked about Lighton. When I saw Lighton's commitment or signing day video, I knew he was going to be good. Do you remember his signing day video with I don't really listen to
he had a Santa hat on. I'm pretty sure
a Santa hat on and NBA YoungBoy playing. It was just clips of him walking around school, and I was like, "Yeah, this guy's gonna be good," because this is just I don't understand what this is, but
his personality and his persona reminds me of LaMarcus Joyner.
Yeah,
he reminds me a lot. He's just about business. He don't say shit.
He didn't play the recruiting game like a lot of these kids do.
No,
just you didn't hear much. There were a lot of hype around all these signees at the end of the, when signing day hit. He wasn't one of those guys that was just being talked about constantly because he doesn't use social media like a lot of these guys. So I think he's just about his business. That's why he's already moved up the ranks, like Tate said, to the vet practice. But, I think that he could be a contributor, but I don't see him being, like, someone that's, like, actually starting. I don't know. If he's actually starting, like, that would be a bad sign as far as, like, the depth at the position with the upperclassmen.
It wouldn't though, because
how? Like, you're saying he's better.
He was your best corner in the class. To me, I think I would rate him higher than Woodby. To me, because what he can do, like he was like I don't get like he was Mr. Football in the whole state. Kyle. Like we could be honest. Kyle has sat here and cost us games before.
But he's also made some plays. Like he's not just like
he's made plays. But I mean, if you put Light in that same position, why not? If the young guy and the vet are the same, you play the young guy. Just for the sake of the future and the sake of the program.
It's a cold world.
Because either way or not, if Dent sticks, Kyle's out of there. Because Dent gonna play year one.
I think DB's super fluid. I think I think Stanford gets looks at corner and field safety, whatever they're calling it, Levante, and then I think everything else will just kind of shape itself out, and the cards will fall where they may, and we'll say it's just a 5-guy. Like if I could give 5 guys, no matter where they are, and we're gonna not include Woodby. We're gonna make him as a star and kind of have that be its own little thing. Levante, Stanford. I think I kind of like Fagan more than Hamza, and so Fagan for sure. Hamza and Kyle, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of talking out of my ass when it comes to DBs. Like I don't really know, but I'm confident that the best.
I like Fagan more.
The best
Fagan's
guys,
a more coverage DB than Ham is.
I think so.
Ham's not that great in coverage.
Like Ham can hit, but
yeah, he can.
Fagan's a better all-around DB.
I agree.
Yeah, I would take Fagan. I mean, the move with Stanford actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
It's a perfect move
because it allows like someone to be more of a contributor, and they don't have to cover as much field. And I think you can trust Stanford with what the free safety position entails, like as far as field coverage and just being able to have an eye on the ball and just being a ball hawk. I think he can get the job done, and then you also open the opportunity for someone that will have less of a stress on them as far as field coverage, like Kyle Myers or someone to step in to that second cornerback role. You already know, Levante is going to hold down the other side. You just need someone else to step up on the other side.
That's perfect. I mean, the way if you look at the way Michigan State play defense, it fits perfect the way we can play it. But
yeah,
it's like you said, you need somebody to step up on both sides. Did we discuss D-line yet, or do we hop straight from linebacker to DB?
Yeah, we didn't even discuss D-line. I think we were all so worried about linebacker that we skipped right to it. Or I was.
Segment.
I think D-line, and I didn't realize that Marvin was going to be out for as long as apparently he is. But I heard that from War Chant, Wake Up War Chant, so maybe it's, I don't know. But
he had said that in the spring that he wasn't going to be back initially.
I heard he might not be back till like Game 4.
What?
That's what I heard.
No, he'll be back like 2 or 3 weeks into camp.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll be
around the first week before the game is when he'll be full go.
That's really good news for me because unless I completely misunderstood, and I was listening at like 5:30, 6 a.m. Maybe I misunderstood, but I thought on Wake Up War Chant, which I know I shouldn't be like as a podcast host, shouldn't be like talking about other podcasts information, but I heard he may not be back till like Game 4, so I'm glad I said something. So yeah, I like Marvin and Chris was on the interior and Burns. And probably a May. I think Kando gets in. I think it's another just fluid group, especially on the ends.
Yeah, You got J-Rob, Kendo,
Yeah.
and Ma. I think that's a really solid group.
Yeah.
J-Rob trash.
Here we go.
These guys are gonna listen. We want these guys to listen.
J-Rob trash. Are we like? Come on. And he's gotten playing time too. That's the thing, and done nothing with it. Anytime Kendo got in the game, you knew he was in the game.
Oh yeah, I like Kendo the best. Kendo's the
Yeah.
one. Kendo's like the sexiest pick out of all those guys, you know. But I think
He's a monster.
I think Amay's like very solid.
I like Wally.
He's gonna get a
I like
single
Wally.
digit. He's gonna get 7.
You think he's gonna get double-digit sacks?
Hell no.
No.
Amay? No, I think he gets
I think
4
so.
max, 4 or 5. You think he gets double digit? Amay?
No.
I think he gets 3 sacks.
Burns is gonna get double digits, and
Yeah.
I want to say Kendo gets it, but
No.
if
No, because Kendo's coming off an injury. It just like I think it takes him a little bit of time to get back to game speed. So, like, I don't see him
he's
going
just so
double digit.
physically gifted.
Does he
Zapp,
have,
you've seen him, bro?
out of
You've
anybody
seen
on the
him,
defense?
bro. He looks like a third-year NFL vet right now.
Yeah, he does. Does he out of anybody on the defense, would you say Kendo has the highest upside?
Yeah,
Or is
I mean,
that,
like,
it's either Kendo or Marvin or Stanford, probably, right?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'd say that.
I think those guys all have first round potential. I'm excited about Marvin. Like, I'm a huge Marvin Wilson fan, so
I'm excited to see if we do see young Trench Monster even get any meaningful reps.
I don't think
he
we
will.
do.
I don't think he will. You think he's gonna play at 360?
Good God, he's 360.
Yeah,
I think that's low too. I think he weighs a little bit more than 360.
yeah. I think it's like he said 360, but I think it's like 365.
Yeah.
What's Mark, about 320?
I
320.
think 310. Didn't he like lose some?
He lost some, but I don't remember what he's at right now.
Anyways, so we kind of went through the depth chart. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on the Chopping It Up podcast with Peej taking Blostein. Now we're just going to do a little bit of housekeeping things, talking about the college football landscape in general, playoff predictions, Heisman predictions from the three of us, just in case this podcast really takes off and we can revisit these and troll each other and make fun of each other. So whichever one of you guys wants to start with your playoff, your 4 seeds. I guess Zach, go ahead.
I'm gonna let Tate get the.
Okay.
I need to think of it out a little bit.
Okay, I got mine, so
All right, go.
I can go. Okay. So my 1 seed for the playoff is Alabama. I think Alabama. Yeah, it's Alabama. I think Alabama goes undefeated this year and wins the SEC. My 2 seed. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma. I think they replace Baker with Kyler, and it'll be fine. I think I think it's gonna be 1 seed Alabama undefeated, and then 2, 3, 4 1-loss teams. So I think it's gonna be Oklahoma, Florida State, and USC with JD Daniels. Take that back. Take that back. No, I'm taking that back. Alabama, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and Florida State.
Wisconsin.
Yes, Wisconsin. Wisconsin wins the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, I can see that.
Similar, that's my 4. Alabama.
All right, I got mine.
All right.
So I'm gonna go with the lock in Alabama.
Right.
I'd say I'm gonna go 2 SEC teams. I'm gonna go Georgia.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put Clemson.
Debatable.
And Clemson and Penn State.
Okay, I thought about putting Penn State instead of Wisconsin, but
I think Penn State's gonna win the Big Ten.
All right, Jordan. What you got?
I got. Let's say I put number 1 seed. I'll go Alabama. Number 2 seed, obviously Florida State. Obviously.
Right. Of course.
3 seed. I do like Oklahoma, not because of what they have, but because of their coach.
Right. And they're in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna run that.
Right.
4th seed, I'll put a wild card in there. Matter of fact, let's take Oklahoma out. I'll put West Virginia as a 3rd seed.
Okay.
What?
I mean, I can see that. I can see that. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that audio. It's 24/7's always starting stuff. Go ahead.
Hey.
So,
you heard my 3rd seed?
Yeah, West Virginia, Florida State, Alabama.
Okay, Alabama, Florida State, West Virginia, and then I'll go 4th. I'll go ahead and say Georgia. Go ahead and throw Georgia in there.
Okay, after losing the SEC championship game.
I actually have. I don't know, bro. If Justin Fields plays, I got them winning the whole thing. Give it a buck with you.
Yeah. I got Florida State winning the whole thing as long as Cam Akers plays this year. As long as Josh Brown plays this year, I got Florida State winning the whole thing.
As long as he starts.
No, just plays. He's got to get on the field. He can make an impact.
As long as Fred's at every game.
Yeah, if I can get Fred, if I can just meet Fred this year, I think Florida State can win the national championship. The combination of me and him on a 9-hour car ride from Charlotte to Tallahassee we'd figure the whole thing out, and we'd get anything that was wrong, we'd get it fixed.
If he is a passer, you can just tell him about your past.
Yeah, I'm a good redemption story. Maybe. There's a lot of time. Time will tell.
Sure, you could.
So Heisman, what do you guys think for Heisman?
Go ahead, Zach. This is tough.
Quickly type in Heisman odds on Google.
Heisman odds. No, I don't know. Because there's a lot of people that are unproven that I think could do it.
Yeah, me too.
But this is tough. I don't know. I'm gonna go Tua.
Okay.
I feel like his team's gonna do the best, so I think that he'll do the best. As far as the odds go.
I feel you. What about you, Tate?
I'll go with. I don't want to sound crazy, but I would go with. Even though we don't know if he's gonna play with, if he plays and starts, I'll go with Justin Fields.
Okay.
But I don't know, bro. That's a good pick.
True freshman.
True. But
there's two freshmen that could win it this year. Trevor Lawrence could win it.
Yeah, I was thinking Trevor Lawrence.
I could see. I think Clemson. I think they go 9-3 or 10-2 this year, but I think he balls. I think if he starts,
if he plays, they have a chance of going 12-0. They did it with Kelly Bryant.
I think
when the D-line wasn't that strong. If he plays, he's obviously the better pick than Kelly Bryant. If he plays, he can push the ball down the field. Them boys would be. They're scary with him.
I'm telling you, Clemson's downfall starts this year.
Think so.
10-2. Telling you, 10-2 at best.
Who are their 2 losses?
Florida State, and then an inexplicable, like a
Syracuse,
like a Syracuse or an NC State or a Boston College. Boston College might be the best team in the ACC. But no, my Heisman. Let me say my Heisman. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he'll win the Heisman. I think Will Grier. That's my Heisman pick.
I hope he does, actually, so we can just laugh at
Yeah, I'm a huge Will Grier fan. Remember how much I used to talk about Will Grier? How much I would just talk about him, just to piss Gator fans off. And now he's one of my favorite players. It's the West Virginia logo just carries weight. So
he's definitely gonna rack up the numbers.
Oh, he's gonna rack up numbers, and if they can win at least 9 or 10 games, and I like that playoff pick because I love West Virginia, man. West Virginia is one of my.
He might fuck around throw for 4,000.
I think he does. Did Jameis? Yeah, Jameis threw for 4,000 when he won the Heisman, didn't he?
Jameis threw for 4,000, 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Yeah. I think Will Grier wins the Heisman, but so more housekeeping, more predictions, just to get the predictions out of the way. Records, big three records, regular season, just regular season. Florida State, Miami, and UCF. Big three. Which record? What do you think the records are of those teams? Excuse me, Florida. Not really necessarily the big three.
I'm about to say.
Not necessarily the big three, but the three teams that have the biggest fan bases. Not the three best teams, but the three teams that have the biggest fan bases in the state. What do you think the records are going to be?
Go ahead, Zapp.
All right, I say I'm gonna start off with I think they win at least 10 games. I'm gonna go 10-2.
Okay.
I think one of those losses will come in the off season. Like, I mean, not in the off season, the postseason.
Upset. Okay.
And then UF. This one is tough because I think Mullen's gonna turn it around. How quick that'll be. I think I'm gonna go 7-5 because I don't see them going from 4-7 to being like a 9-win, 10-win team just based on what they brought in and like just what their schedule. I think they lose 4 or 5 games on that schedule in the SEC. And then I'd say FSU. I'm gonna go. This one's tough too. I honestly think 9-3 is the most likely.
Right.
I wouldn't put them over 10 because I think they could actually lose 3 games. Like, I think that's very likely.
Right.
But I also don't think that they lose a lot more than 3 games. So I think that's my pick right there, 9-3.
Interesting. What about you, Tate?
For Miami, I would go 9-3 or 10-2, something like that.
Right.
Who's Miami gonna lose to?
That's what I'm saying, just because how soft the schedule is. But just knowing Mark Richt, he'll drop some shit because he's just a fluke. So we'll go with that. UCF, I don't know how good they are without Frost. I don't think anybody knows how good they are without Frost. So I'll say what they win. They went 14-0, right?
Yeah, 13-0, whatever.
13-0. So we'll go, I guess, we'll go 10-2 for UCF, just to say that. Us, I could see it anywhere from 12-0 to 9-3. So I'll, I guess, go middle ground and go 10-2.
You really think they can beat Clemson?
Yes.
Yeah, at home. At home, I think we could get Clemson, but it would just take a perfect game. That's what I'm saying. Clemson's defense, it doesn't really scare because they've always had that top talent on it, and it's been nothing for us to score on.
It's a different staff, though. You don't think that changes anything?
It's a different staff, but I mean, the athletes that we have, I don't see how this change does anything other than good. Right. Like if you can score 35 points on the offense, that's snapping the ball every 25 seconds versus one athlete that's snapping every 3-4 seconds. Like it's just, I feel like it's just different. You'll wear people out.
Clemson's not even the game I'm most worried about. Honestly, like I'm not saying we're gonna beat Clemson, but like I honestly see that game as a toss-up. I really do. And people are gonna say I'm lying and I'm trolling and whatever, but I really do. Like I don't think Clemson's like.
I can't like judge those games yet until I see this team actually play.
Exactly. What is it? August 8th, 9th?
Well, being that it's at Doak and it's versus Clemson, it's most likely going to be a night game. So
yeah,
us at night and Doak.
We'll be undefeated going to that game.
I mean, 2016, it was at night at Doak. They lost.
And they should have won. They still had Venables. But I mean, which brings me to another point of why I don't want Dre to be the quarterback, but that's different conversation.
I mean, Dalvin had that game. Like, he was the one that pretty much kept FSU in that game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. We don't have Dalvin, but anyways, do you want to hear my big three predictions?
Here we
You
go.
guys interested? Did you say your Florida prediction, or is you just don't consider that a big three team take?
Florida, I give them like 7-5.
Yeah.
I can see 5 losses on the schedule easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So here are mine. Florida State 11-1, with a loss at Notre Dame, similar to a certain national championship season. That's what I think. And then Miami, I see 8-4 with losses to LSU, Virginia Tech, Florida State, and Boston College. And then Florida, I see 6-6 with losses to Kentucky, Mississippi State, LSU, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida State.
See, like, all those losses, like, are very, very likely. Like,
Besides
as
Kentucky.
far as, like, Georgia, LSU, like, those are pretty much automatic 2 losses right there.
Florida
for
State.
Like,
Florida State is an automatic loss for Florida.
yeah, I wouldn't say that it's, like, as likely, but, like, Georgia,
I would even go as far as to say I think they'll lose to Tennessee. That's as guaranteed in my mind.
I think they lose. They beat Tennessee. I think they lose to Kentucky, though. I really do.
I can't get myself to think they'd lose to Kentucky after beating them for like 30 years.
But what could make this offseason? I guess at this point it would be the actual season. But what could make things worse? The only really thing that has left to happen for them is to lose to Kentucky, and then that will be it. Besides getting the death penalty.
That's the second worst. They fuck around and lose to Vanderbilt, they'll fire Mullen the next day.
Yeah, but they haven't lost to Kentucky in like 30-something years. I don't know when the last time lost to Vanderbilt either, but they play Vanderbilt on the road in October, right after LSU and right before Georgia. But I think there's a bye week in between Vanderbilt and Georgia. So Vanderbilt's probably terrible though, so who cares? But
they have a really good coach, actually.
they do, yeah. Mason, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so Florida State 11-1, Miami 8-4, and then Florida 6-6. I think 6-6 is pretty generous for Florida, and I don't even think they're that bad. I think they're like a decent 6-6. Like I just don't think they really win. I mean, they have people. I mean, I don't think Florida's schedule is as soft as people like to make it out to be. Like the SEC, in my opinion, is still the best conference in football. And the SEC East has improved, I think. Maybe they do lose to Tennessee. I hope so. I like Jeremy Pruitt, and they play Tennessee on the road.
I'm just banking on Pruitt. This has nothing to do with anything else.
Right.
I just think Pruitt will have his defense like crazy.
Yeah.
Especially when he can do whatever he wants to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm switching to 5-7. I think you sold me. I think Tennessee beats them too. No, 6-6. I think they beat Kentucky now, and I'm gonna switch Tennessee with Kentucky. I can't see them going 5-7 again. I think
they can beat Kentucky. I can't. That's the one I can't see is Kentucky.
No, I think they beat Kentucky. I switch it now. I think they beat Kentucky now. But they've been close, man. Kentucky's been playing them close for years.
Wait, Peej, did you just say SEC was the best conference in football?
I think the SEC is the best conference in football. Yes.
I found a tweet saying from this year, ACC easily the best conference in football.
Did I say that?
You were not smart if you don't think so.
Oh,
Who
PJ
said
gonna
that?
say some shit like that.
Who said that? And when was the date on that? And
I'll retweet it right now.
Did I put my? You know how Barack Obama will say "BO"? That might have been one of my interns. Like I did. Is there?
Your intern.
Is there a sig with that?
Nope.
Please retweet.
What's the date?
I just retweeted
What's
it.
the date?
November 11th, 2017.
I was drinking. I was relapsed.
We
well-
need a better excuse than that. At least say you thought Dabo and Jimbo was doing their thing.
No, because this is 2017. I hated Jimbo in 2017. Like I was over him.
That's crazy. My dumbass was still fucking.
Yeah, you were sick when Jimbo.
You know what's crazy? I was really in denial. Like, I'm sitting here, like, as the person that has the fire burning all around them, like, this is fine. Like, this is completely fine. Like, every game we lost, like, we went 0-1. I was like, all right, we're just going 11-1. Then 0-2. I was like, all right, fuck it, we're going to win 10 straight games with a backup quarterback who's never played.
I did think that after NC State, but I didn't. But I had a slow withdrawal from Jimbo because I was a huge, after 2013, who wasn't, but I was a huge Jimbo Fisher, like, stan. 2014, I still was. 2015, I still was. And then 2016, I was like, the personnel, like, there's just some shit that's just, like, inexplicable. Started to chip away at me. And then 2017, after Wake Forest, which we won, but I was just sick. That game made me sick. And I knew there was something wrong with the program. Just like the program. Not even necessarily Jimbo, but there were some serious changes that needed to be made. But anyways, breakout players. How about this? A breakout player for Florida State this year. Zach, or take. Just one. The biggest breakout.
I'm gonna go breakout player. I'm gonna go DJ Matthews.
Okay. I wonder if Take is pissed because I'm sure he's gonna say that.
Fuck.
You got to say something different.
Okay, if we're going to break out player, I'll just say LeBron.
Ken LeBron. I'm going with Terry. I'm a believer. I'm a believer in Terry. I like those Jordan.
Terry Hive?
Yeah, Terry Hive. I'm Tamorian.
These niggas stay hurt, though. That's the thing.
Who, Terry?
Wasn't he just hurt, Zach?
Groin.
Did he just get hurt in practice?
He's back, though. He's back.
Okay. It's DJ that's hurt.
Yeah.
See, DJ,
and I don't even know. At wide receiver, y'all got the easiest practice. Literally. Other than quarterbacks, the receivers got the easiest practice.
Yeah, they do.
How y'all niggas get hurt?
I think he got injured in the summer, though. DJ.
Yeah, DJ did.
Okay.
I don't know about Terry, but I know DJ did. But DJ's what? What is he, 160 pounds max?
Yeah, but it's just... Like, he's a complete football player.
Know,
not a complete football player, but just a straight football player.
He's a baller. He's a baller.
But he's good at what he does. Really good at what he does. Elite at what he does.
Yeah.
Who's a breakout player on defense?
Okay, yeah, since we all said offense, I guess we can call an audible and do defense. I'll go ahead, Zach.
Defense?
You're the expert.
Can you count Stanford Samuels?
Yeah, because he's going to break out on the national scene.
Because I don't think he's had
everybody
real start.
That's crazy.
I'm going to go with Stanford. I just think that he's going to fall out.
Take? I know what you're going to say.
I don't know if he can break out even more. My opinion on this man is already cemented, but I think Brian Burns will turn himself into a top 5 pick easily. But
Bold.
I guess we won't say Burns. I'll say, I don't know, man. I guess I'll say, does Christmas count?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Because I don't think you can count Chris. I don't know.
I don't think he can go up that much. I feel like he's peaked, but he's very good.
My second pick would have been Kane, though.
You never know what you can do without Nani.
All right, so you can go with Christmas. Or Burns. Just go with Burns. I think saying Burns will be a top 5 pick would be a breakout for him. Like, you know what I mean? Like a national scene.
You don't see top 10 in him?
No, I don't think he gets drafted in the top 10. I think maybe teams will regret it later on, but I think teams are going to have a hard time. I don't see him putting on a bunch of weight between now and Combine. And I think teams will let his stock drop. But at the same time, Arden Key and Barkevius Mingo. I don't know when Arden Key went, actually, but I know Barkevius Mingo went like 7. I'm not saying they're like the same player, but Barkevius was pretty skinny too, and he went early. But the Browns picked him, I'm pretty sure. So maybe
I think in the league, Brian will turn into a linebacker.
I think so too. I think he's gonna be a 3-4 linebacker. But I think Brian. I don't see him as a top 10 pick. No. I see him as a top 25 pick. I see him in like. My breakout player on defense is I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say AJ Lighton.
I like that.
Lighton's my breakout. I think Lighton's the best freshman on the defense. That's a bold pick. I think he's the best freshman on the defense this year.
He's better than Woodley.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Football of entire state. It's not like Maryland is New Mexico or Idaho or South Dakota or some shit. That's Maryland.
You think he'd win Mr. Football of California?
No.
California's the biggest state. California, not.
Who won Mr.
It's not
Football?
like Maryland. Maryland isn't Delaware.
But
Yeah,
it
but it's
borders
also
Delaware.
not Florida or California or Texas.
I think if he came to Florida, he'd still be where he's. I don't think he would have won Mr. Football, but I think he'd be still where he's ranked at.
I think he'd be ranked higher.
I think he'd be ranked higher because he got the Florida bump.
Or the California bump or the Texas bump. I think he's a 5. I love Lighton. I was kind of quiet about. I was quiet about that earlier.
5-star at what point?
He's a dog. Lighton's a dog. I'm telling you right now, Lighton is LaMarcus Joyner. Big, like, I don't know if his playing style is like LaMarcus, but I'm saying like the mentality wise. I was kind of quiet on that earlier, but I'm a huge Lighton fan. I hope he listens, but he doesn't because he doesn't give a shit about what fans think. He's not one of those players that's gonna concern himself with the opinions of us. So, but he's gonna ball this year. That's my bold prediction. Or Josh Brown. Josh Brown could win.
Make sure you get him out of that 30.
Yeah. Ugh. Let's get him in a single digit. Let's get him in. I think Josh Brown could also has the potential to be the first defensive Heisman winner since Charles Woodson. And that's not a joke. You know, shout out to Frederick Brown.
I agree.
We need to get Josh Brown out of the 51. We need to get him in the 33 because isn't that how old Christ was when he died? Because I know his dad's a pastor, and I don't mean to get religious. I'm not a super religious person, but maybe we shouldn't be talking about that. Anyway,
Brown gonna play the same amount of minutes he played when Jimbo was there.
Not if me and Frederick have anything to do with it. All right. So, actually, Frederick doesn't even care though. That's what he said. Like he doesn't. He just wants the best.
Oh yeah, he just happy his son is on the team.
Yeah, but Brown was rated kind of high in high school. Brown was he was a blue chip. He was, and he played for the best school in North Carolina. He was the best player on the best school in North Carolina. By far the best program. But Blostein, we know you're new to the whole Twitter scene. So is there any questions you have? Is there anything like you will see on the timeline that gets you curious that you don't know about, like Tate covering his chin, or people calling me a crackhead, or
yeah, I mean, like I kind of got the info on those, but I was talking to Tate earlier. I kind of wanted to know about the whole clutch like MJ story.
Oh, PJ's a man with that one. He can fill you in with that one.
So clutch like MJ is he's rest in peace Ryan Bryant. Rest in peace, Ryan Bryant. He was
the fucking farmer tractor man.
Yeah, he kind of looked like I feel bad because I used to tell him he looked like a rat. He was a Florida fan, and he courageously offered great insights on recruiting for the Florida Gators, and things would always fall through at the last second, you know. So he would, they were getting Stephon Diggs. He was a sunshine pumper, and he started his own forum, and he would make T-shirts, and he made like 40 G's, off the backs of Silk, off the backs of Pierre, you know.
Definitely got a check from Silk.
Oh yeah, no, he got a check from Silk.
Definitely got a check from Silk. Definitely got paid from Silk.
Silk's a great man, you know. He formerly known as Gift of Gab. Gift of Gab was his name at the time. His Twitter name was not Silk; it was Gift of Gab. And true story. 6 with the G's were 6s, and so they discovered off the hard work of Mayayo and Tide Pod, that there was something iffy about Clutch Like MJ, and they figured out he was a catfish. And he was making up all his info. His life was fake. He had a real girlfriend in Kentucky. It turned out it's a man named Neil Cool who's like 6'7" and jacked, and is a Florida State fan in Destin, Florida.
That's why niggas ain't ran up on him for their money yet. Cause he's 6'7".
He's 6'7", like 280. Like this guy is like Janaris Robinson size. He's bigger than you know what I mean. And his name, if you want to follow him on Twitter, I think it's Gaines850 with a Z. But so that's the story of Clutch Like MJ, the legend of Clutch Like MJ.
Made money off them.
40 G's. I wish I would. And he tried to get me to do it to FSU fans. I swear to God, he was like, "You need to do this. You need to do the forum thing, blah blah blah." And I regret not doing it.
Do we know if his 40 G's are on the same level as Budnick's, or
what do you mean?
Who won that?
He made more money than Budnick.
I've seen people say that it was more than 15 G's. People are saying like it's up to 50. Because you listen to that nigga Ricky the Prince podcast. Shout out his podcast too, because I listened to it. It's actually pretty fun. It's called NWO Niggas with Opinions, and they talked about it because him and Budnick was supposed to do a podcast together, like just like this one, like on for Miami, and Kane Sport was gonna broadcast it or sponsor it or whatever, and the day before or 2 days before they were supposed to record, the whole story came out. Like my yayo, who stay exposing people, exposed them, and they went from there. But niggas was sending him, like, people were sending Neil money to join the forum, like $90 a pop. People were sending this nigga like $500, $600 at a time.
Yeah.
Yayo said she admitted she sent $300
to Budnick. Anyway,
to this nigga Budnick.
Is Budnick back on Twitter?
No.
Nah, I doubt he'll ever come back.
No, he's not coming back. His girlfriend's still on Twitter, though.
Wait, and you guys know the story of that guy, he's like an FSU fan or whatever. He's like a military guy. I don't really remember his name.
Bushido.
Yeah,
I kind of came late to that.
He was in a group chat. See, bro, he was in a group chat with like 10 other no's or whatever. And like, he used to always be like, because I was in it, he used to be like, like 6 days before I'm leaving to go to my next deployment, 5 days, and then like the day of, he'll be like, "Yo, I'll holler at y'all for like however many months." It'd be some long months, like 5 or 6 months, and everybody in the group chat would be like, "All right, bro, stay safe and everything." He used to post pictures of the military and like all the guns, all the tents and shit, like all that shit from the Middle East and all that. It turned out all that was like they Google image searched it and it all came up.
Were those kids actually his? Because he would always talk about his daughter.
I don't know. If that's the thing, people are like, if that's not his kid, then that's crazy.
Yeah, I heard
he was taking pictures of like a young girl, like in her bed. Yeah. Like, you really think that was his daughter?
I don't think it was actually his. I don't know what dad would like expose his teenage daughter like that on Twitter. You know what I mean?
He was like pimping her out, like he wanted somebody to date her. Type.
He really kind of was. Like, he was like exposing. She was a good-looking girl, you know. And I'm pretty sure he's from Orange Park. Like, the Bushido character was. I don't know if the actual catfish was, but I assume who the fuck would pick Orange Park for somebody to be from? But because
that might fuck around because that's the person who was doing it might be from there.
Right, because he would talk about Orange Park, and like me and him would talk because I'm from Orange Park, and yeah, so that's the story of Bushido. That one, I don't even really... Bushido. I never liked that guy.
Bushido's a funny nigga. Whoever.
I heard it's like a 6-year-old Hispanic dude.
I can believe it.
That's what I heard. I don't know
I don't know why you impersonate a military guy, but I can believe it.
That's what I heard. Any other questions that get you curious?
I mean, I pretty much figured out everything else. Like, I don't really.
So, who are your top 5 follows in Big 3 Twitter?
Top 5 follows.
Yeah,
I mean,
favorite, funniest,
I don't
whatever.
I don't interact with a bunch of stuff, but like the funny stuff I see, like J Rock, like I like to see the stuff he gets into. I just think it's funny. Obviously, my boy Take.
Right.
CJ.
Yeah, CJ solid.
Tarif. CJ, Tarif, and Smooches.
Smooches, call me. Like, DM me if you ever listen to this, DM me and give me your
getting
number,
her on the pod.
and I will call you. Yeah, we're getting her on the pod. Of course we are.
Gotta get you on the pod, baby girl.
Tell your mama I said thank you. What about you, Take? Who are your 5 favorite?
Top 5. I go with my dog Blostein for one. Nigga be keeping me plugged in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
PJ, because that shit is funny. PJ just simply because him and the silk shit is hilarious.
What do you mean the silk shit? I love Uncle Silk.
I'm just like, because every once a month y'all are gonna go back and forth.
Oh shoot! Can I make a top 6?
Yeah.
Just go honorable mention.
No, honorable mention Karen.
Thank you.
Karen.
Yeah.
Another sexy member of Big 3 Twitter.
Okay, well, I put y'all 2. I put Grimes in there.
Oh yeah, that's my number 1. That's the
Grimes is hilarious, bro. Grimes. I put J-Rod, not J-Rock. J-Rod.
Yeah, I thought you meant J-Rod when you said J-Rock. J-Rod is great.
J-Rod is funny. And 5th, I definitely go. I'll split that spot. I'll go with either Rhodes or Smooches.
Yeah.
Because I'm guaranteed to see some laughs when I scroll their timeline.
Yeah. I can't really give a top 5. I'm going to leave people out, but I'm still going to give one. But I know people are going to get left out, and I'm going to, whatever. Grimes, easily. Grimes, you're my favorite person on the timeline, by far. I'm not going to say either of y'all two, even though you would be in there, just because you guys are listening, so who cares, you know? So I'm going to go with Grimes. I'm going to go with Tridenton. Mike, my boy.
I like the OG.
The OG.
I'm gonna make a honorable mention when you get done.
I'm gonna go with Gator Critic.
Who is that?
You guys need to follow Gator Critic. He's like taking the Tridenton model, but as a Florida fan, but like making it his own.
He's way worse with it too.
He's great. Actually, nah. Scratch that. So Grimes, Tridenton, CJ, J-Rod, and my boy Jeremiah Zanders. Jeremiah Zanders is my boy. And there's so many people I miss. I got to give a honorable mention to a legend who doesn't really tweet that much anymore. V850404. He's a legend though. He's the boy. He just doesn't really tweet like that anymore. But he used to be like, you know, whatever. But of course, Smooches and Marissa.
Yeah. Go ahead and say. Tell Marissa right now anything you got to tell her.
Just I think that kid's mine, honestly. But she knows what's up. You know, she's got my number. Yeah, top 5, top 20. I love everybody. You know, I love everybody who I follow, and who I don't. I love Uncle Silk. Uncle Silk is I pray.
What about Elliot?
I like Bud Elliott. He doesn't like me because when I was like 16, I was an idiot. You know, so I can understand that. But I pray for Uncle Silk every day. You know, I pray for him and his family every day. I love that man. And Kev's my brother in recovery.
Watch now, PJ. When we release this shit, he gonna tweet, "Them boys obsessed with me. Blessed to be on the best podcast ever." peons or some shit.
Yeah, he's gonna call me a peon, or no, he's not gonna tweet about it. He's not gonna listen to it. He don't care about me. Anyways, I think that's it. We might as well wrap it up, right?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap it up without me.
Yeah.
She keep crying.
Yeah, so Jordan's out, but this was disorganized. This is the organized chaos. This is just the first episode, but you can expect good things are coming with the chopping it up with Steen, Peej, and Take. So appreciate y'all listening. Go Noles.
I'm talking about like we always do about this time, bitch.